A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Which means, O Allah, I seek your protection from the accursed Satan, and I start with the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
Translation of Surah number 8, Al-Anfaal, which means the spoils. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. They ask you about the spoils. Say, the spoils belong to Allah and the Apostle. Therefore have fear of Allah and end your disputes. Obey Allah and His Apostle if you are true believers. The true believers are those whose hearts are filled with awe at the mention of Allah, and those whose faith grows as they listen to His revelations. They are those who put their trust in their Lord, pray steadfastly, and spend of that which He has given them. Such are the true believers. They shall have degrees with their Lord, and shall be forgiven by Him, and a generous provision shall be made for them. It is like when your Lord caused you to leave your home in truth, though some of the faithful were reluctant. They argued with you about the truth that had been revealed, as though they were being led to certain death while looking. Remember when Allah promised to grant you one of the two bands, and you wished that one that was not strong. He wanted to establish the truth by His word, and to annihilate the unbelievers, so that truth should triumph and falsehood be discomfited, though the wrongdoers wished otherwise. And when you prayed to your Lord for help, He answered, I am sending to your aid 1,000 angels in succession. By this good news, Allah sought to reassure your hearts, for victory comes only from Allah. He is mighty, wise. Also, when you were overcome by a sleep, a token of His protection, He sent down water from the sky to cleanse you and to purify you of Satan's filth, to strengthen your hearts and to steady your footsteps. And when Allah revealed to the angels, saying, I shall be with you, give courage to the believers, I shall cast terror into the hearts of the infidels, strike off their heads, smite the ends of their fingers. This is because they defied Allah and His Apostle. He that defies Allah and His Apostle shall be sternly punished. We said to them, feel our scourge. The torment of fire awaits the unbelievers. O believers, when you encounter the infidels gathered for battle, do not turn your backs to them in flight. If anyone on that day turns his back to them in flight, except it be for tactical reasons or to join another band, he shall incur the wrath of Allah, and hell shall be his home, an evil fate. It was not you but Allah who slew them. It was not you who threw at them. Allah threw at them, so that He might richly reward the faithful. He is hearing, knowing, and He will surely weaken the designs of the unbelievers. If you were seeking a judgment, now has a judgment come to you. If you desist, it will be best for you. If you resume your war against the faith, we will return to their assistance, and your forces, many though they may be in number, shall avail you nothing. And Allah is with the faithful. O believers, obey Allah and His Apostle, and do not turn away from Him when you hear Him speak. Do not be like those who say, we hear, but give no heed to what they hear. The meanest beasts in Allah's sights are those that are deaf, dumb, and devoid of reason. Had He perceived any virtue in them, He would have surely endowed them with hearing. But even if He had made them hear, they would have turned away and refused to listen. O believers, obey Allah and the Apostle when He calls you to that which gives you life. Know that Allah stands between man and his heart, and that in His presence you shall be all be gathered. And guard yourself against the sedition with which will not afflict the wrongdoers alone. Know that Allah's punishment is stern. And remember how He gave you shelter when you were few in number, and considered weak in the land, ever fearing the onslaught of your enemies. He made you strong with His help, and bestowed great benefits upon you, so that you might give thanks. O believers, do not betray Allah and the Apostle, nor knowingly betray your trust. Know that your children and your worldly goods are but a temptation, and that Allah's reward is great. Believers, if you fear Allah, He will give you discrimination and cleanse you of your sins, and forgive you. The bounty of Allah is great. And remember how the unbelievers plotted against you. They sought to take you captive, or have you killed or banished. They plotted, but Allah plotted also. Allah is most profound in His machinations. Whenever our revelations are recited to them, they say, "We have heard them. If we wish, we could have speak the like. They are but fables of the ancient." They also say, "Lord, if this be your revealed truth, rain down upon us stones from heaven or send some dreadful scourge to punish us." But Allah was not to punish them whilst you were dwelling in their midst, nor would He punish them if they sought forgiveness of Him. And why should Allah not chastise them when they have debarred others from the sacred mosque? Although they were not its guardians, its only guardians are those that fear Allah. The most of them do not know it. Their prayers at the sacred house are nothing but whistling and clapping of hands. They shall be punished for their unbelief. Those who disbelieve spend their wealth in debarring others from the path of Allah. They will spend it, but it will become a cause of regret for them, and in the end they will be overcome. The unbelievers shall be gathered in hell. Thus Allah will separate the wicked from the just. He will heap the wicked one upon another, and then heap them together, and cast them into the hell. Such are those that shall be lost. Tell the unbelievers that if they mend their ways, their past shall be forgiven. But if they persist in sin, let them reflect upon the fate of their forefathers. Make war on them until persecution is no more, and Allah's religion reigns supreme. If they desist, Allah is cognizant of their actions. But if they give no heed, know that Allah will protect you. He is the noblest helper and protector. And know that to Allah the apostles' kinsfolk, the orphans, the needy, the wayfarer, shall belong 1/5 of whatever you take in as spoils. If you truly believe in Allah and what we revealed to our servant on the day of victory, the day when the two armies met, Allah has power over all things. And remember, when you were encamped on this side of the valley and the unbelievers on the farther side, with the caravans below, had you made an appointment with them, you would have surely failed to keep it. But Allah sought to accomplish what He had ordained, so that by clear evidence, he that was destined to perish might perish, and he that was destined to live might live. And surely Allah is hearing, knowing. And remember when Allah made them appear to you in a dream as a small band, had He showed them to you as a great army, your courage would have failed you, and you would have quarreled over the affair. But this Allah spared you. He knows what is in the hearts. And when you met them, He made each appear to the other few in number, that He might accomplish what He had ordained. To Allah shall all things return. O believers, when you meet their army, stand firm and pray fervently to Allah, so that you may triumph. Obey Allah and His apostle, and do not dispute with one another, lest you should lose courage and your resolve weaken. Have patience. Allah is with those that are patient. Do not be like those who left their homes elated with insolence and vainglory. They debar others from the path of Allah, but Allah has knowledge of all their actions. And remember when the devil made their foul deeds seem fair to them, he said, "No man shall conquer you this day, I shall be your protector." But when the two armies came within the sight of each other, he took to his heels, saying, "I am done with you, for I can see what you cannot. I fear Allah, His punishment is stern." And when the hypocrites and the cowards said, "Their religion has deceived them," but he that puts his trust in Allah shall find Allah mighty, wise. If you could see the angels when they carry off the souls of the unbelievers, they shall strike them on their faces and their backs, saying, "Taste the torment of fire. This is your punishment for what your hands committed. Allah is not unjust to His servants." Like Pharaoh's people and those that have gone before them, they disbelieved Allah's revelations. Therefore Allah will smite them in their sinfulness. Mighty is Allah and stern His retribution. This is because Allah does not withhold His favors from men until they change what is in their hearts. Allah is hearing, knowing. Like Pharaoh's people and those that have gone before them, they denied the revelations of their Lord, and so we destroyed them for their sins and drowned Pharaoh's people. They were all evildoers. The basest creature in the sight of Allah are the faithless who will not believe. Those who time after time violate their treaties with you and have no fear of Allah. If you meet them in battle, Deal with them so as to strike fear in those that follow them. Perchance those followers will take warning. If you fear treachery from any of your allies, you may throw back to them their treaty fairly. Allah does not love the treacherous. Let the unbelievers not think that they will escape us. They have not the power to do so. Muster against them all the men and cavalry at your disposal, so that you may strike terror into the enemies of Allah and your enemy, and others besides them whom you do not know, but Allah does. All that you give for the cause of Allah shall be repaid you. You shall not be wronged. If they incline to peace, make peace with them, and put your trust in Allah. Surely He is hearing, the knowing. Should they seek to deceive you, Allah is all sufficient for you. He has made you strong with His help, and rallied the faithful around you, making their hearts one. If you had given away all the riches of the earth, you could not have so united them, but Allah has united them. He is mighty, wise. O Prophet, Allah is your strength and the faithful who follow you. Prophet, rouse the faithful to arms. If there are 20 steadfast men among you, you shall vanquish 200, and if there are 100, they shall rout 1,000 unbelievers, for they are devoid of understanding. Allah has now lightened your burden, for He knows that you are weak. If there are 100 steadfast men among you, they shall vanquish 200, and if there are 1,000, they shall by Allah's will defeat 2,000. Allah is with those that are steadfast. A prophet may not take captives until he has destroyed many disbelievers in this land. You seek the chance gain of this world, but Allah desires for you the world to come. And Allah is mighty wise. Had there not been a previous sanction from Allah, you would have been sternly punished for what you have taken. Enjoy therefore the good and lawful things which you have gained in war, and fear Allah. He is forgiving, merciful. O Prophet, say to those you have taken captives, if Allah finds goodness in your hearts, He will give you that which is better than what has been taken from you, and He will forgive you. Allah is forgiving, merciful. But if they seek to betray you, know that they had already betrayed Allah. Therefore He has made you triumph over them. Allah is wise and all-knowing. Those that have embraced the faith and migrated from Makkah and fought for the cause of Allah with their wealth and their persons, and those that sheltered them and helped them, shall be friends to each other. And those that have embraced the faith but have not migrated from their homes shall in no way become your responsibility until they do that. But if they seek your help in the cause of your religion, it is your duty to aid them, except against a people you have a treaty with. Allah is cognizant of all your actions. The unbelievers give aid to one another. If you do not do the same, there will be persecution in the land and a great corruption. Those that have embraced the faith and migrated from their homes and fought for the cause of Allah, and those that have sheltered them and helped them, they are the true believers. They shall receive mercy and a generous provision. Those that have since embraced the faith and fled their homes and fought with you, they too are of you. And according to the book of Allah, those who are bound by ties of blood are nearest to one another. Allah has knowledge of all things.